Bravo, pull up and go around.
Go around, Foxtrot Bravo, Bravo.
Tower India, Echo Lima, downwind 13, touch and go.
India Echo Lima number 3, follow Cessna left base, turning 1 mile final.
2点麦，广佛downwind.
India Echo Lima.
Foxtrot Bravo, Bravo Tower, fly runway heading.
Fly runway heading, Foxtrot Bravo, Bravo.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land runway 13.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, change of plans, crossover midfield, join right downwind, runway 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, crossover midfield, join the right downwind for 13.
Greetings, everyone. We are sitting here at Sangster's International Airport in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and we are going to be flying the Cessna 152 on this leg. This is leg 3 of 4 legs. I'll show you on the map where we started from and where we're heading to. So we started, let's see, 2 weeks ago we started here in Kingston, and we flew out to the tip of Kingston, out to about the tip of Port Royal, and then we flew over Kingston, and then we made our way up to the Blue Mountains, Blue Mountain Peak, and then we came south and we flew and landed in Bath, little airfield in Bath, which is on the eastern tip of the island of Jamaica. That was leg 1. Leg 2, we started from Bath and we flew out to the tip and we followed coastline. We went over Port Antonio. We saw some of the areas that are notable, the Errol Flynn and Ian Fleming areas. Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond series. That was in Aracabessa, here on the north coast. And then we continued west, flew over Ocho Rios, the famous Dunn's River Falls, flew over past Runaway Bay, Discovery Bay, and we continued west along the coast until we got to Montego Bay, and we landed at Sangster's International Airport, which is where we are today, picking up leg 3 of 4 legs. So today we're planning to fly out of Sangster's International, and we will go over some tourist areas and local areas that are notable, and there'll be a bit of an audio tour as we go over these. We'll first go over the famous Jamaica golf course, the Terral Golf Club on the north coast, just west of Montego Bay, and that was the home of the Jamaica Open. This golf course is noted as one of the finest golf courses in the Caribbean. We'll continue west, and we'll reach an area called Dolphin Cove, which is a really nice area where people can actually swim with some dolphins. We'll continue our westward journey over the town of Lucia and Fort Charlotte. There'll be some audio tours on all of that. And then we'll get to the edge of the northwestern tip of the island. We'll make our way south-southwest to the town of Negril. Just outside of the town is a little airstrip, the Negril Aerodrome it's called. We won't land there, we'll just fly over it. we'll make our way into Negril, which is also a famous area for tourists to stay at. We'll follow the coastline. There'll be a Negril Lighthouse right here, which unfortunately Microsoft has not captured that lighthouse, so we really won't see the lighthouse, but that'll be the area. We'll go over in a little area which is noted to tourists to visit. It's called Barney's Flower and Hummingbirds. It's a small home property that contains beautiful flowers and so many different hummingbirds. From there we'll continue. We'll go east, we'll follow the highway, a little bit of a highway here, and we'll come east. We'll come into this area here, which is the famous for horseback riding. It's called the Reggae Horseback Riding and Tours. So we'll follow that. Continue following that eastward. We'll fly over the Appleton Estate, which is the home and the distillery for Appleton rum. Used to be known as J. Ray and Nephew, but it's now known as Appleton, world famous Jamaican rum. I visited that as a young child. It was quite interesting to see. We'll fly over that, and then we'll make our way southeast. Fly over this little airstrip here, and then we'll end up in a little airport called Racecourse Airport. And there's an air tour regarding Racecourse Airport. It's known as Burnham Field. And you'll hear all about that as we come into land. So without any further ado, we should make our way back into the aircraft and get started. It's actually quite a lovely day today. I have filed a flight plan with air traffic control, although there are no air traffic controllers on duty today, but I have filed a flight plan. We'll be flying at about somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 feet. But as I said, without any further ado, let's get going, because this is about a 1 hour and 10-minute flight. So, parking brakes are set. Open up the fuel valve down on the floor. Turn on our master battery. Turn on the panel lights, beacon lights, and I like to have the dome light on even though it's not nighttime. I also like to turn the panel lights up. Sometimes if you're flying under a cloud layer, it can get dark in this little Cessna 152. On legs 1 and 2, I flew the 172, but I've picked up the 152 here at Sangsters International, and I'm looking forward to flying this little aircraft. So this aircraft hasn't been flown today, so we will prime it before starting. So to prime it, we open the throttle, mixture fully rich, make sure the carb heat is off, which it is, and we're going to use the primer, and we'll prime maybe 3 strokes. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we'll retard the throttle and open it up just about 1/4 of an inch, and that should give us about 1,000 RPM when it starts. Goes the mixture. And as we start the engine, we'll open up the mixture. There we go. We've got a good start. We've got 1000 RPM. Oil pressure is coming up. Temperature is okay. That all looks good. Ammeter over here is light is on, and that's because we have not turned on our alternators yet, so we'll turn the alternator on. And that ammeter light should now be off, which it is. So we're not using autopilot, but we'll just turn it on, make sure it's functioning, which it is. Turn it back off. Turn the ADF radio on, although we probably won't be using that at all. We'll get our radios turned on and volumes turned up. Our CTAF Unicom frequency is set to 1228 because there are no air traffic controllers on duty today. We will tune in the VOR at Sangster's. Just not that we're going to use it, but it's good to have that ready and turned on. So that's a frequency of 115.7. Tune that in as we have, and we'll swap it over, and this should come alive, which it did. Okay, that all looks good. Alright, just checking to make sure air traffic control hadn't come online yet, which they have not. So, winds today in at this airport is 050 at 13 knots, but it's actually, that's what's forecast, but it's actually right now looking at the latest weather, it's about 10 knots, which is fine for this Cessna 152. That's not a problem. So unfortunately, we're parked at the east end of the field, and there's a long taxi out. Take off on runway 07, so we're going to close the doors and get started. Just open this window while we taxi, because let's see the temperature out today. Yeah, it's pretty warm today. Yeah, it looks like we're at about, it's about 20, no, it's actually about almost 30 degrees. Okay, I've tuned the altimeter to the elevation of the airport. We will be using runway 7. I like to set the heading bug to the runway heading. So, without any further ado, let's start taxiing. I'll make a Unicom call. Sangster traffic, Cessna Delta Echo Whiskey at the East GA parking, taxiing to use runway 07, Sangster's traffic. we should do before we get going. Let's turn our DME on again, not that we're really using it. And we should set our transponder to 1200. And put it on altitude reporting. So we released our parking brake. Start heading out on this very long taxi strip to the threshold of runway 07. Although I think what we'll do is we'll take off at one of the intersections before we get to the threshold. Just open up our
thanks through traffic. Air Canada Rouge 1804 on the OMAX arrivals, currently above the airport at 7,000 feet. Inbound runway, just a minute.
turn on our GPS.
Going to be runway 11 for Air Canada Rouge in about 5 minutes. Thanks for traffic.
Seems to be something wrong with the
correction, runway 7 for Air Canada Rouge 1804.
I'm not watching where I'm taxiing, and turn that off for now. So there's an aircraft coming in on runway 07. Looks like he might be on the downwind, runway 07, so just wait till he lands. So we will go to the end of the taxi strip for runway 07. It'll give that incoming aircraft a chance to land. We'll do a run up while waiting for him to come in. Going to pull off. Pull off just down here a little bit. Pull over here to the left and just do a run up over here while we wait for the incoming aircraft. Right here. Yeah, that windsock does look a little bit stiff, doesn't it? Okay, let's just pop outside, see if we can see that aircraft coming in. Yeah, there he is right there. Okay, we'll do a quick run up. Parking brakes are set. We have to throttle up to 1700 RPM. Which is where it's at right now. We'll do a quick lean mixture check. Yeah, that works. Full rich mixture again. Do a magneto check. The right magneto. They should not drop below 125 RPM. That's only 100. Do the left. It's 100. Do a carb heat check. Turn the carb heat on. And it should not drop below 100 RPM, which it does not. With the carb heat on, we'll do a throttle idle check. It shouldn't drop below 700 RPM. And while we're doing that, we will do a cycle of the flaps. All good. Back to 1000 RPM. Okay, our trim is set. Takeoff. We do not need flaps today, so they can remain off. I think we'll open the cabin air, let some air come in, and we'll close the windows before takeoff. We'll go out to the hold short. That aircraft should be coming in any moment now. Let's have a quick look outside, see if we can see where he is. Oh golly, I just had a system failure. Oh, I think we're going to lose our system. Okay, we're just going to quickly click the OK button. System crashed. Alright, let's quickly restart. Sorry about that. Ah, that's terrible. That's the second system crash that I've had in almost a year. Well, we're rebooting. Let's hope it comes back up. We have a slight delay in our departure. Well, so in the meantime, yep, the pilot has shut down as well, so that means I have to create a new flight plan. Which we'll do again. Well, that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. Departure now is going to be more like 17:30. Hour and 15. 4 hours of fuel. We'll make this 3,500. VFR westbound along the coast. Okay, so we'll just wait till the aircraft, or till the system boots up. Then we can refile the flight plan. If it boots up. It's slowly making its way here. Don't understand what would have caused that crash. Crash to desktop. It's very annoying. I guess it's better it happened on the ground before we were actually in the air. Yeah, it's been almost a year since the last crash to desktop. Okay, let's quickly get this back up and running. Okay, that's up and running. This time we'll spawn in, rather than spawning in at the eastern part of we'll spawn in right here at parking 1, just to make it a little quicker. All right. We have to go through the whole startup process again. Okay, we'll just close our doors, get going as quickly as we can. All right, let's connect to the network again. Okay, let's file that flight plan again. Flight plan has been filed. Okay. The Miami Center is online, but they have no jurisdiction over Jamaica, so we won't need to worry about calling Miami Center. All right, let's quickly get this started again. Okay, parking brake is set. Fuel on. Mr. Battery on. No need to prime because the engine is warm. Okay, got a good start. Alternators on. Just trying to do this fairly quickly without missing all the steps. Turn on our panel lights. We don't need pitot heat today. It's basically 30 degrees out. We'll put the strobes on. We'll put all our lights on. Turn the panel lights up in case we get underneath some dark clouds. I'm going to set the trim to where I like it for takeoff. Okay, we don't want to forget any steps. We'll turn the radio on. Turn the volume up. We are set to 122.8. DME is on, not that we need it. We'll turn the transponder on. 1200 to 1200. It's on altitude reporting mode. Turn the ADF on just in case we need it. Okay, I did this fairly quickly, so hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. We'll tune in the VOR just in case we need it. 115.7. Swap that over. We're going to be taking off on runway 07. Okay. We are ready to taxi out, so we better call the Unicom frequency. Sangster traffic, Cessna Delta Echo Whiskey at the west parking, taxiing to runway 07. Sangster traffic. Hope there's no more crashes to desktops. Let's just check our FPS. Oh, we're 75, 80 FPS. Not sure why that crash occurred. Anyway. We are on our way again. So welcome anyone that whoever's on with me. Yeah, I'm just checking my chat, and I am tuned in to Dane SimAir, so we are good to go. Not seeing anyone online just yet. Let's taxi out to the active. Okay, we'll just stop here. Make sure there's no one coming in. Sangster traffic, Cessna Delta Echo Whiskey at runway 07 for departure to the west from the left-hand downwind. Sangster traffic.
Cessna Echo Whiskey, have a good flight.
Thank you. I had a crash to desktop. I had to reboot. Thanks a lot.
Hope this one's gonna work out for you.
Roger that. Here we go.
We're looking at you.
Okay, we are up. Thanks for traffic. Delta Echo Whiskey, clear of runway 07. Taking a left-hand downwind departure. Thanks for traffic. Okay, we are finally up. There's Sangster International down there. Okay, so we are on our way. Our first flyover will be the Jamaica Open Golf Course, the Terrell Golf Course. Let's see if we've got, I should open up Push Talk Radio. That needs to be on. Okay, so that's on, and we need to have Push Talk Radio open in order to hear the tours. All right. So we're just flying into the bay, Montego Bay area. See the bay down below us. Just staying out of the way of the incoming traffic that might be using runway 07. Got a bit of a cloud cover today. Okay, that all looks good. Alright, everything will level off here at 2,500. I'd say in about 1 minute we should be coming to the Negril Golf Course. Maybe 2 minutes to the Negril Golf Course. A lot of guest homes, guest houses down there, a lot of little hotels on the coastline. That's all good. The first audio tour should be coming up very shortly, as the Negril Golf Course is, let's see if we can spot it from here. Let's just look over the dash a little bit.
Negril Golf Club is a private country club in Hanover Parish, Jamaica, just outside Montego Bay. Founded in 1958 and designed by, it features a 6,800-yard 18-hole course. In 1963, it hosted Shell's Wonderful World of Golf match between Dow Finsterwald and Peter Allis. It also hosted the LPGA Tour's The Jamaica Classic from 1989 to 1991 and the unofficial PGA Tour event Johnny Walker World Golf Championship from 1991 to 1995. In 2005, it was voted the best golf course in the Caribbean by. The BMW Jamaica Classic was a golf tournament on the PGA Tour Latino America that was first played in 2017. The tournament is sponsored by event
that wasn't the golf course. That's
SportsMax.
housing.
It was the first PGA
There's the
Tour
golf course
Latino
coming up
America
now.
event held in Jamaica.
This is the golf course down here. All in here, all the way around here. That's all the golf course. Okay, so the next tour coming up is going to be when we fly over the town of Lucy and the Fort Charlotte, I should say. Before that should be the Dolphin Cove. Dolphin Cove should be coming up any moment now. Let's just have a look at the map. Yeah, Dolphin Cove. Oops, I should watch. I should watch where I'm going. I'm looking at the map and Raft's wanting to take a right spin right into the ocean, or into the Caribbean Sea, I should say. The Dolphin Cove should be coming up. Right about now. Let's move out in over the water so we can get a better view of it.
Dolphin Cove, Jamaica is a marine attraction at which guests can swim and interact with dolphins, sharks, and stingrays in their natural environment. Visitors may also interact with other species including iguanas,
Wind is
snakes, and a
extremely
variety
gusty
of
today.
birds, as well as other marine creatures in the Jungle Trail Walk. Dolphin Cove has been the recipient
That's
of
the
many
cove right
awards.
there.
The company operates 3 facilities on the island: Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, and Lucia, which is claimed to
There's
be
the
the
cove.
largest natural dolphin lagoon
It's
in the
Dolphin's
world.
Cove. Alright, next we'll be coming up to St. Lucia. Which should be very shortly, and the Fort Charlotte. So, the town of St. Lucia right here, and Fort Charlotte is right down there. Gee, that wind is gusty. Yeah, winds are gusting to 14.
Lucia is a coastal town in Jamaica and the capital of the parish of Hanover. Hanover, Jamaica's second smallest parish, was founded on the 12th of November 1723 with Lucia as the capital and main city. From the middle of the 18th century, the farmers of Hanover provided the rest of Jamaica with most of its produce, but mainly exported banana and logwood, which is used to make
That's
dyes.
Lucia down there.
Fort Charlotte in Lucia was built in 1761. Alongside the fort is an impressive Georgian brick structure known as the barracks, which was built in 1843 to provide shelter to the soldiers stationed there. In the early 20th century, the barracks became the educational center for the town and has now been transformed to become part of the Lucia's High School complex. In 1982, Lucia's High School was merged with the Hanover Secondary School and is still known as the Lucia's High School, Fort Charlotte. In January 2019, the school was still open and open-air lessons took place inside the fort. The parish has 3 small waterfalls, several coves, such as the Davis Cove, named after a prominent Hanover family, along its coastline, and large caves. The still fully functional
There's the coastal
Lucia Clock
highway.
Tower was built in 1817 and stands in the town center near the old Lucia Courthouse. Other notable tourist attractions are Lucia's many historical sites that date back as far as the 18th
So
century.
we're at the tip
Lucia
of the
Parish Church of
western
Hanover
tip
is
of
one of
the
the
island,
oldest
so now we're
churches
heading
in Jamaica.
south.
Although no record of when it was first built exists, the first baptism record dates back to 1725, the first burial was in 1727, and the first marriage in 1749. It is said that there is a tunnel that leads from the church to nearby Fort Charlotte, which was a safe haven in time of war. The Hanover Museum sits on the site of a prison dating back to 1776 and houses many historical artifacts significant to Hanover's history.
So we're getting out of that gusty wind now that we're at the western tip and heading south. Winds right now are 4 knots, about 135 degrees at 4 knots. So we've got just a bit of a left crosswind, but it's only 4 knots. So there's a coastal highway following, and that's basically what we're going to be following all the way around the island. Our next spot to fly over, we're not going to land at Negril, but we'll be approaching the town of Negril, which is a very popular place for tourists also to stay. Most popular places in Jamaica are on the north coast, and starting from the east, there's Port Antonio, there's Ocho Rios, well-known one is Ocho Rios, and the well-known Montego Bay, and equally well-known is Negril, right out on the western tip, kind of southwestern tip of the island. Show you on the map what that looks like. So there we are. And there's a Negril Airport. And this is the actual town of Negril right here. And just outside of Negril, there's a lighthouse that Microsoft has not, unfortunately, has not captured in their mapping. And then right out past that, there's a place called Barney's Flower and Hummingbirds, which is beautiful flowers and amazing hummingbirds that you can visit. So that's what we're doing. So we're just gonna head out a little bit to the west so we can get a better view of the town of Negril and actually also the airport. Negril Aerodrome, as it's called. See, we've got that tip of land right there. Yeah, we got that tip of land. We got the little bay. That should be the aerodrome right there, and there's Negril off to the south of it. Yeah, this bay that we're presently over is called Orange Bay.
Negril Aerodrome is an airport serving Negril,
That's the
Western
aerodrome
Jamaica.
right there.
It is located 7 kilometers north of Negril Point. It primarily serves the tourist resorts in the area. Negril Aerodrome handled approximately 72,096 passengers in 2001. The airport has scheduled passenger service provided by International Airlink. Negril is a small population of 6,900 but widely dispersed beach resort town located across parts of 2 Jamaican parishes, Westmoreland and Hanover. Negril is about an hour and 15-minute drive on the coastal highway from Sir Donald Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. Westmoreland is the westernmost parish in Jamaica, located on the south side of the island. Downtown Negril, the West End Cliff Resorts to the south of downtown, and the southern portion of the so-called 7-mile 11 kilometers beach are in Westmoreland. The northernmost resorts on the beach are in Hanover Parish. The nearest large town is Savannah La Mar, the capital of Westmoreland Parish.
Okay, so we're coming up to the town of Negril now. You know, Jamaica is the most beautiful island in the Caribbean. There's no question about it. It's known as a land of wood and water. And very beautiful island to visit. Very beautiful island to live in. I enjoyed my youth. Born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. And it certainly was wonderful to grow up on that island. Just checking my chats, make sure I haven't missed anyone. Well, no one's on with me today on this flight so far. There is no air traffic control. I just checked again. I'm just going to make sure my chat's message is working. I'm just going to type in a
Barney's Flower and Hummingbird Garden is located just on the outskirts of the town of Negril, approximately 1 mile. It is a private tropical house garden 1/4 acre with an abundance of exotic plants and flowers, a natural habitat for Jamaica's unique and rare hummingbirds. No nets, no cages. We can accommodate up to 6 visitors for one session, 60 minutes. Reservation required. The gardens are not suitable for children under 6 years. Government
That's
regulations
Negril down there.
COVID-19 are strictly enforced. Please wear a mask and have your entrance fee ready. For more details, please visit our homepage.
Okay, we're going to start heading east now. Like the winds have picked up again. Winds are 112 at 10 knots. So I've got a headwind ahead of me. I'll just get up to a little bit closer to 3,000 feet. We're coming into an area that's a little hillier. You can see off to the distance there. Probably have to be at 3,500 to get over those hills. So this is this, you can't really see that highway. Just slide out, put our head outside the window for a bit. Yeah, that road there, that coastal highway, there it is there, follows it there, and it joins up to the main A2 highway that goes from north to south on the island. That's the A2 highway right there. We're passing over an area called New Hope. There's nothing really to talk about for New Hope. It's just a community. There's that A2 highway coming down from the northwest. Yeah, winds are 114 at 12 knots now. I think we'll start to increase some altitude because those hills are coming up here shortly. Yeah, definitely. It's gusty too. 12 knots, gusting 14. Looking good so far. Cloud cover is lovely. It's a beautiful day actually, other than the gusty wind. Right down there, right along there, it's known as Paradise on the Beach. You know, the beaches on the southern coast are very different than the beaches on the north coast. The beaches on the southern coast are more gray colored, and the sand is not as fine. It's not coarse, but it's not as fine as the north coast, which is very white sand and very, very fine. It's beautiful, beautiful beaches on the north coast. This little area that we're coming up to here has a tourists and locals. It's called the Reggae Horseback Riding and Tours, right down here. So we can stick at about this altitude here now. That'll get us over those hills up ahead. So that's the west coast that we flew down, and the north coast is over there. Coming up to a community called Savannah Lamar. Again, there's nothing much to talk about other than it's a community in Jamaica. That's it's a well-known community, but there's nothing outstanding about it. We should do an engine check, make sure everything's okay. Fuel is good, temperature is good, pressure is good. I can leave my landing and taxi lights on. I like to do that when we're flying this slow. Everything's looking good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, let's just turn back towards the land area. Yeah, that's all Savannah Lamar. It's a fair-sized community, actually. Let's see if I can Google it and see what it says about Savannah Lamar. That's the capital of Westmoreland, the parish of Westmoreland. was, I'll just read what it says here. It's the capital of Westmoreland Parish. It's a coastal town. It contains an 18th century fort constructed for colonial defense against the pirates in the Caribbean. Well, I guess that's kind of interesting. Oh, we don't need to be at 4,500, that's for sure. Let's get back down. Let's get back down. Let's turn back south. There's really not a whole lot up in this area here. Head over this hill. I'll just lean it out a little bit. We're at 3,500 feet. What we'll do is we'll follow this road. Roadway here, highway. Actually, it's not a main highway, but it is a highway. And we'll go through this part of the little bit of a valley there, not much. Get away from the higher hills here. To worry too much about the height that we're at. There's that beautiful Caribbean Sea off to our south. Absolutely fantastic. We got a little bit of misty clouds right here. Really not a lot to worry about there. There's Caribbean Sea behind us, wrapping around, keeping Jamaica nice and warm. And cool as well. Yet those nice sea breezes coming in. There's nothing nicer than a sea breeze. That's the B8 highway. Works its way there, works its way up. right here. A little bit, just from the clouds. See what the temperature is outside right now. Yes, it was 30 degrees when we left Sangster's International Airport. It's now 20, maybe 21 degrees. Now we're gonna head a little bit more southerly. We're past that mound of the hill right there. We needed to be 3,500s. We're at 3,000. We've got lots of altitude. No problem at all. Gonna make our way back down further to the south. Just looking at the map here, just coming up ahead of us is the B7 highway. See if we can spot that. And when I say highway, it's, Jamaican terms, is just a roadway for us. That's part of it there. Then it will become the B6 highway. That will take us over the rum country, as I call it. Appleton Estate facility, plantation, sugar cane, the rum is made from. There's an audio tour that I'll play as we get over Appleton Estates. Appleton Estates, of course, is a famous Jamaican rum. Jamaica is noted for their rums. And Appleton Estate, as it's now called, used to be known as J. Ray and Nephew. And you'll hear about that on the audio tour as we get closer. We're heading down now to a little bit more southerly route to highway. I think it's B6. Yeah, B6 intersects. Intersects 7, which is that road right there. That's what we're on now. B7 actually takes you south right down to the water. Actually, B7 takes you down to the water, but it also it's across the main highway, which is the A2 highway. So we're over our sleepy town, sleepy area known as Springfield. So this is now B6 highway. Making its way east. And I believe, yeah, the B6 highway crosses right in front of Appleton Estate. So what I'm going to do is start descending a bit now. We're coming up to the Appleton Estates area. Yeah, we are very close to the Appleton Estates area now. We're probably about 6 miles. 6 miles to the west of it. Should see that B6 highway. There it is there. It's such a small roadway that it's kind of hard to keep track of. There it is down there. No, sorry, that's not it down there. It should be over this way. And actually that's where we need to be, over this way, not further south. Right over this hill, this little hill right here, we'll be approaching the Appleton Estates. We're going to pass over an area, a little settlement called Magotty. Maggotty. About 3 miles from the Appleton Estate facility, we should start hearing the audio tour. I'll fly just south of it so that we can see the property as we fly by. Okay, it should be just up ahead. We're about 3.5, 4 miles from it right now. I think that's it, right up there. Let's have a better look here and see if we can. Yeah, no, that. No, right there, over this way. So there's the highway there. That's the B6 highway. And Appleton Estates should be just on the north side of the B6 highway.
The history of J. Ray and Nephew began in 1825 when company founder John Ray opened the Shakespeare Tavern in Kingston, Jamaica. Kingston grew steadily and eventually became
Right down
Jamaica's
here.
capital in 1877, and the Shakespeare Tavern became highly successful. In 1860, Ray brought Charles James Ward, the son of his brother, to run the business side of the company. Ward was a dynamic and gifted entrepreneur, and under his leadership J. Ray and Nephew began a period of growth and prosperity. Ray retired in 1862 and died in 1870, leaving Ward as the sole proprietor of the business. Ward developed the tavern and liquor dealing concern into one of Jamaica's largest exporting commercial enterprises. At the International Exhibition held in London in 1862, J. Ray and Nephew won 3 gold medals for its 10, 15 and 25-year-old rums. The company's rums also won several awards and prizes at international exhibitions in Paris
I should watch what I'm doing,
1878,
though.
Amsterdam 1883, New Orleans 1885, and Jamaica 1891.
That's the whole estate all
In
there.
1916, Linda
That's the
Brothers
B6
and company
highway.
purchased Ray and Nephew. Almost immediately thereafter, the new company, J. Ray and Nephew Limited, purchased the Appleton Estates, a plantation which had produced rum throughout the period of chattel slavery. The Appleton Estate Distillery was established in 1749. At the end of 2012, Italian spirits company Gruppo Campari purchased Ray and Nephew. In 1997, Joyce Spence was made the master blender at J. Ray and Nephew, the first woman ever to occupy this position in the industry. It is said that 90% of rum sales in Jamaica are of this famous brand, used in Jamaican rum punches, like Tice and daiquiris.
So, that's Appleton Estates. Okay, let's pick up the speed a little bit now. That's the B6 highway. We're gonna get away from these hills now. I'll pick up a heading of about 120. That'll get us flying over the second to last airstrip before our destination. Should actually be on the other side of this hill. Now let's just pick up some altitude and get over the hill. this should be okay. Once we get past this crest of this hill, we'll pick up a heading of about 140 degrees. Uh, 130 maybe. Okay, that's 2,500 feet, should be okay to get across here. We're actually 1,500 feet above the ground right here. No problem at all. Okay, let's pick up a heading of about 130 degrees. Feet. We're looking good. That airport we're going to fly over is called kind of a hard one to pronounce. It's called Kirkland Airstrip. Show that to you on the map. See where we are. So there we are. And we're going to fly over Kirkland. And we'll make our way Kirkland to our final destination of Racecourse Airport. We're almost home now. Well, I wouldn't say we're home, but we're almost to our destination for today. Now I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. That red earth that you see up ahead is from all the bauxite that's mined on the island of Jamaica. Bauxite, of course, is what goes in, is the ingredient for making aluminum. And it's a very, very red color. That's what you're seeing up ahead there. See if we can get the binoculars and zoom out to it. There it is there. Let's see if we can pick up the pace to about 110 knots. Engine check. Fuel is good. Quarter tank. Good. Temperatures, pressures are all good. Everything's looking good. RPMs are a little bit too high. Should just reduce to 2,500. And we're at 110 knots, which is where I wanted to get to. So that airstrip, Kirkvine, should be coming up very shortly.
Kirkland Airstrip is an airstrip serving the city of Mandeville in the Manchester parish of Jamaica. The airstrip is 5 kilometers north of the city. There is rising terrain northwest through east. There is a large hill off the end of runway 33. The Mandeville/DME is located 41.0 nautical miles east of the airstrip. The Sangstervore/DME is located 35.9 nautical miles northwest of the airstrip. The elevation of the airport 1,376 feet and has one hard surface runway. Runway 3315 is 2,219 feet long.
So that's Kirkvine Airstrip commentary. And we'll be coming up to it. We'll just fly over it very shortly. Just up on our left. If we can spot it, it's a small airstrip. Right now we would be on the runway 15 left downwind. So we need to just look out for it. It should, there it is right there. There's the airstrip right there. That's the warning of the hill ahead of it that they talked about on the audio. We'll just stay to the left of that hill, because we're only at 1,700 feet. We're only 300 feet above the ground right now. Get up to about 2,000 feet. So we're actually now following the main A2 highway. There's it, there it is there. And it runs from the north coast down here to the south coast. It's a good highway. There it is there. There's some vehicles on the highway right now. Right now I'm about 800 feet above the surface. We're at 2,000 feet right now. Elevation here is about 1,200. So we're heading right over here, which is our final destination. There's some more red earth, bauxite area. Good. See the Caribbean Sea off in the distance. So we are from the Caribbean Sea. We are about 10 nautical miles, and that's about the distance to our final destination, about 10 nautical miles. Yep, that's where we're heading. The airport we're actually heading to is actually called Race Course Airport, but it also has some historic significance during the war, and it was known as Burnham Field, and you will hear an audio tour about Burnham Field very shortly. We'll stick at about 2,000 feet. The airport we're landing at has an elevation of 108 feet, and it has an almost 5,000 foot runway, 4,954. The winds there are 170 at 16 knots. Ooh, that's a little heavy for a Cessna 152. Have to be careful. So 170, we'll be using runway 19. We'll have almost direct headwind. As we come into the land. We're going to do a straight-in approach. Let me check to make sure there's no air traffic controllers on. There aren't. So there's no air traffic control. So we'll use the Unicom frequency. So this is will be the end of leg 3. Leg 4 will take us to the final leg, and that'll bring us right back to Kingston where we started with leg 1. And also very interesting. Leg 4 is an interesting tour as well. There's a lot of good sights to fly over. So next week, next Monday, we'll do leg 4, and that'll wrap up our Jamaican tour. Yeah, I'm gonna make a call into race course traffic. Race course traffic. Cessna Delta Echo Whiskey at 2,000 feet, straight in, and we are north of the field, 5 nautical miles north of the field for a straight in approach to runway 19. Race course traffic. That should be the airport right up ahead of us. lose some altitude. Yeah, winds are 16 knots. Actually coming from 118. So we are going to have a left crosswind.
Vernon Field is a former World War II United States Army Air Forces airfield located in Clarendon Parish, 34.3 miles west-southwest of
This is the
Kingston,
audio tour of the
Jamaica.
airport.
The airfield was renamed Vernon Air Force Base by the newly formed United States Air Force in 1948,
Oh, it is
but was
gusty.
closed in 1949. The base was named in honor of First Lieutenant Remington de Bremont Vernon, an American pilot who entered the French Air Service
Wow.
during World War I.
Very, very
Vernon
gusty.
was shot down behind German lines on October 30th, 1918. After the armistice, he was found by American forces in a hospital in Longwy,
Okay,
France,
pre-landing.
with another wounded aviator, Lieutenant Arthur C. Dinney.
Landing lights
Vernon
on.
died of his wounds on December 1st. He is buried in the American cemetery at Saint Mihiel in Théaucourt, France, and was
Carb heat
posthumously
on.
awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. World War II. The airfield has its origin in the 1940 destroyers
One
for
notch
bases
of flaps.
agreement between Great Britain and the United States.
Wow,
For
is this
material
ever
support
gusty?
in the Allied war effort, Britain agreed to lease as potential naval
little too
and air
gusty for a
bases to the
152.
United States at several locations in the Americas. The development of Vernon Field was viewed initially by the Army Air Corps as a staging field for training and for the operations of Boriken Field, Puerto Rico.
Look at the
design of
circles on the
airfield
field
was
below me.
upgraded to that of a bomber airfield and consisted of 3 runways, a 6,000-foot concrete runway and 2 shorter asphalt runways to accommodate crosswind landings. When officially activated on the
Okay,
21st of
full flaps.
November 1941, the station was assigned to the 24th Composite Wing, 6th Air Force, which controlled Atkinson, Bean, Coolidge, Ramey and Waller fields in the Antilles
Wow,
Air
that
Command.
is sure
Construction of
gusty.
airfield runways and a support station was ongoing throughout 1942,
Yeah,
and the
we got a
first operational
stiff
unit
left
did not arrive
crosswind.
until September. With the United States entry into the war in December, the
Hey,
primary
flare.
mission of Vernon
Hold off,
Field was
hold off,
anti-submarine
hold off,
patrols
hold
in the
off.
Northern Caribbean. In addition, the
Touchdown.
Florida-based Army Air Forces School of Applied Tactics would send student groups to Vernon for advanced base operations training
Okay,
in combat
we arrived
tactics,
safely.
returning to Florida after completion. By 1944, the airfield had fallen into backwater status, as the anti-submarine war in the Caribbean had moved much further south towards South America and
Our
Panama.
turn off is right
After
here on
the
the left.
departure of the 35th Bomb Squadron, the remaining units assigned to the field were a detachment of the 10,588th Ordnance Company and the 305th Signal Company, along with a medical detachment. On the 30th of June 1944, Eleanor Roosevelt visited the station. In early 1945,
Race course
Vernon
traffic,
Field became the
Cessna Delta
destination
Echo
for many
Whiskey is
29
clear of runway
Superfortress
19,
aircraft from
taxi
2nd
to
Air Force
the
training flights
parking.
originating from
Race
training
course
bases
traffic.
in Kansas and Nebraska. It was, unfortunately, the site of several B-29 crashes.
Okay, after landing, taxi lights on, landing lights off, strobes off, pitot heat off, carb heat off, dome lights off. Gonna just park up here beside these beautiful aircraft, twin engine aircraft, single. We'll just park over here. Park on the grass to get out of the way of other aircraft coming in. Well, that was a bit of a long flight, but we arrived safely. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. We'll We'll go through the shutdown process now. Parking brakes are set. Avionics need to be turned off. Avionics are off. And mixture lean. Mixture lean. And throttle to idle cutoff. The mags test. Yeah, no, that's good. Magneto's off. Alternator off. Beacon lights off. Taxi lights off. Nav lights off. Fuel valve down on the floor. Needs to be closed. Panel lights off. Master battery. Alternator off. Yeah. And we should turn the DME off. And we'll turn the transponder off. And the ADF radio off. And finally, master battery off. So that was 1 hour and 8-minute flight. Shut that down. I don't know why we had that system crash at the beginning. We've got good FPS of 78. So we can get out of this aircraft. There we are. Thank you for joining me on this flight. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the various areas that we flew over. And I look forward to leg number 4, which is our final leg, and flying over some very interesting areas as well. So without any further ado, thank you. See you on the next round.
Foxtrot Bravo Bravo, pull up and go around.
Go around, Foxtrot Bravo Bravo.
Tower India Echo Lima, downwind 13, touch and go.
India Echo Lima number 3, follow Cessna left base, turning 1 mile final.
India Echo Lima.
Foxtrot Bravo Bravo Tower, fly runway heading.
Fly runway heading, Foxtrot Bravo Bravo.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land runway 13.
Charlie Zulu November, clear to land 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, change of plans, crossover midfield, join right downwind runway 13.
Zulu Sierra Alpha, crossover midfield, join the right downwind for